Your witness, Jones.
May, you say that the things you did for your family, you did out of love.
Yes.
Because you wanted them to be happy.
Of course.
And in the unfortunate event of your death, you wanted them to go on living contented lives without you.
Yes, that's right.
Can you explain then, May, why you failed so very dismally at achieving that objective?
Well, it was circumstance. Nothing else.
Circumstance?
Yes, circumstance.
Circumstance that you slipped on those eggs?
Yes.
Circumstance that your husband had a car accident? Or was it a direct consequence of your death?
I refuse to believe that it was my fault.
And then it was circumstance, I suppose, when your daughter choked on the bus. It had nothing to do with you not being there to collect her.
Well, there was nothing I could do about that.
And amazingly, circumstance intervened yet again when your son David set fire to the house.
Yes.
And were you aware, May, that your neighbour's mother also died on that day?
No, I wasn't.
Nobody went to see her at the home. Old people often die of loneliness, you know.
Do they?
Yes, they do. And wasn't it you that were supposed to go and see the old lady?
Yes, it was, but I was dead.
Circumstance. What an amazing thing. I ask you, May, does it not strike you as strange that this chain reaction was set off when you died?
Yes, it is strange, but I don't see how...
No, you really don't see, do you? You think yourself so full of goodness that you believe you had nothing to do with the deaths of all these people.
I always did my best for them.
No, Mrs. Pickering, you always did the best for yourself.
Objection! She's badgering!
St. Peter, it is imperative to establish the defendant's motives.
I'll allow it. Carry on, Jones.
Thank you. You say that you were acting unselfishly, Mrs. Pickering, but I put it to you that you were acting purely in your own interests.
Why would anyone think that?
Because you were the sort of person who needed to feel needed. Because you wanted your family and friends to feel dependent on you. Because, as your daughter said, you needed to feel important.
No.
And you did feel important, didn't you, May? You felt as if everything would fall apart if you disappeared. You were God in your own household.
That's not...
And you took this to such an extreme, May. You pampered and pandered to others so much that they simply forgot how to survive without you.
You're being unfair.
You made your family so dependent on you that within 6 hours of your death, they had each and every member, including your pets, met their own demise. Is that what you would call being a good mother?
I was a good mother.
You were a selfish mother. You were so caught up with your own self-importance and your ideas of how you could get into heaven that you totally ignored your family's true needs.
I cared about people. I was a good Christian.
Were you? Why? Only this morning you took our Lord's name in vain, not 2 minutes before your own death.
I didn't think...
No, you didn't think, did you? When it came down to it, May, you never thought about anything except your own peace of mind. You don't deserve to go to heaven, Mrs. Pickering. In fact, far from it. No further questions.
Mrs. Pickering, have you anything to say?
Yes. Yes, I do. I want to say that I led a good life. I helped a lot of people. I took time out of my day to do things for others, things that they could not do for themselves. I thought that I was doing the right thing. I thought that that was what was important in life. Well, and yes, I thought that these good deeds would be taken into consideration when my time of judgment came.
My apologies, May. If you would pause for just a brief moment. Will somebody please find out what all that racket is about?
Yes, at once, Your Honour.
My sincere apologies, May. Continue.
had thought that things here would be done in a just and fair way. I had thought that people here would be on a higher plane of awareness. I had not considered the possibility that the way things are done here would be no better than on Earth, that my words and actions could be twisted to make me look bad, and that my own family could be bought and turned against me. All I wanted was to be a good person, and I tried my very best. And if I failed, I don't know how. And I'm sorry.
If that is all, Mrs. Pickering, you may take your seat.
Bravo, well done. I like the part about this being no better than Earth. You should have been a speechwriter.
Well, I hope it made a difference.
Now, I have taken into light everything I have heard here today. It is not easy to make decisions of this kind. The responsibility placed on me is great. However, it is a responsibility that I have borne for a long time, and I am accustomed to the burden. It is not for others to understand my reasoning, although I do try to explain my decisions to those concerned. I feel great sympathy for May Pickering, because in her life, like so many others, she was acting on false information. She believed that her view of judgment and the afterlife was the right one. And let us not forget that she had been taught this view by somebody, and so was not fully responsible for her warped beliefs. For this reason, I am declaring that May Pickering be admitted... What is going on out there?
I'm sorry, St. Peter. I have extra information for the case.
Bring it here, then. Oh, thank you very much. You may go. I'm afraid I have some new evidence that I must take into account, Mrs. Pickering. It's regarding the fire at your house today.
Yes?
The information I have here is very serious, Mrs. Pickering. It would appear that the fire, which not only killed your son, David, and your pets, also spread into the neighbouring houses in your street, resulting in what seems to be a countless number of deaths. In fact, this list is continuing to grow longer and longer.
Oh, for God's sake!
Oh, is it really, Mrs. Pickering? Is it really? I'm afraid, my dear, that this takes your death toll up to and beyond the human death limit.